Hello and welcome back to another psychology video. Now, I just want to apologise for any background noise that you can hear. I'm still at the hospital, so if you can hear a lot of background noise, I do apologise. But I don't know if this mic catches all that. But if it's too bad, I won't upload it. But I think it should be alright. But what I want to talk about in this video is about fear and anxiety. Now, this is something that most traders face during their trading career. And when actually not even most, I'll say every trader faces this. Because although we say, detach yourself from the money and, basically what I just said, try not to attach yourself to the money, right? Try to focus on the percentage gain, and try to focus on the bigger picture, right? It's easy to say, but I'll be lying if I said that sometimes I'm not always 100% on a trade, for example. Like, there's always that anxiety or fear that comes into it, and everyone has that, right? But what you need to do is simply you need to accept that when you're trading, you'll never be comfortable, right? Regardless of how long you're doing it, regardless of how well you've done, you won't be comfortable. Because even for me, if I'm looking at a setup, if it looks a bit funny, but I still want to take the trade because it's still somewhat high probability setup. But there's something in the back of my mind, I don't know, whatever it is, telling me this trade it's not the one. There's something, when you get that gut feeling. But I still enter that trade anyway because it still follows the rule, which is why I have a rule-based system, purely because trying to eliminate the fact that, I don't want to trade based on predictions and assumptions. I want to trade based on facts, and the facts of our strategy is so strong that I know that I have that statistical edge. And that's what you have to remember is, regardless of what strategy you're using in the Vertex course, because all of them have a statistical edge, right? So regardless of the outcome of the trade, you have to remember you still have that edge over the market, right? So that's what I keep in mind. That's why rule-based entry system works for me best. And that's the reason why I'm teaching you guys this, because I think for me personally, not even for me personally, I think it's the best way to go about it. For example, I wasn't really a retail trader, but say for example, as a retail trader, you'll have like lines going up, lines going down for the same trade, and you're thinking, oh, if it reacts off here, I'm gonna go for a buy. If it reacts off here and breaks, I'm gonna go for a sell. We don't do that because that adds more fear and anxiety than ever, because you're actually trading without having a plan. Everything's unknown to you in that situation, which is why this rule-based system will hopefully improve the anxiety that trading can cause. All right, but thing is, the reason why this causes anxiety is because trading involves information that's somewhat incomplete, and every trade situation is unique every time that they arise, right? So there's always a level of uncertainty when it comes to trading, and that's where you get the psychological discomfort when you are taking a trade and how to manage it, right? So there's no way you can actually avoid this realistically. Like, even you can detach yourself as much as possible, but even on the demo, you can detach yourself from it, but the anxiety is always still there, right? You still have that doubt. But what I want you to know is that if you're experiencing this fear, this stress, this anxiety from trading, you have to know that you're not alone. Every trader will experience this, and the emotions, what differs is the strength of the emotion, because some people are better at dealing with it than others, which is why in the last video I said to keep a journal of how you react and then go in that and then work off that. Same thing as you would backtest a trade, right? You would backtest your strategy, right? And you would work on the losses to improve yourself. Same way as you would do with your emotions. And the reason why I'm saying this is because fear is the most common complaint seen in traders, and it's something that holds a lot of people back. And another thing I want to talk about fear is the fear of missing out. Now, this is quite a big thing. And And I want to say that that affects me as well. Sometimes I see some amazing setups that you guys are taking in. Like for over the last 2 weeks, I've not really been active in terms of trading because I've sort of given up. Not given up, sorry, wrong word. I'm sort of done for the year, right? But some of the setups you guys are taking are absolutely like they're stunning. Those setups are like wonderful, right? I would love to have been in them. And I'm not bothered by in that sense. I just want to say well done to you guys. But this is what can affect you. Is that I remember being a student and well, not even that. But I remember when I was learning and I see other people doing so well with it. And I'll see the setup after someone's posted it, and it will bother me, and I'll get worried. I'll start chasing the trade because I'm scared, not scared, but I'm worried that I've just missed out on a good move. The issue is when I enter, because I'm chasing it, I end up getting stopped out because I've not really followed my rules in that sense. But in terms of missing out, you have to remember that there's opportunities everywhere in the forex market, right? So if you miss one opportunity, it's not the end of the world. Like for me, if I miss a trade, I miss the trade. It annoys me for about a couple of minutes, and then I move on. I don't really think about it. What annoys me more is when I miss the trade and I see that bloody James, is in the trade. No, I'm just joking. It doesn't bother me at all. Okay, maybe a little bit, but the thing is, you have to move on because there's no point. If the more time that you waste thinking about the trade you missed, you probably just missed another trade. And what will happen is you'll see that trade that you just missed, and then you miss another one because you're wasting too much time thinking of what you could have had, right? And I think that's the main thing. It's not the fear of missing out that bothers you, is thinking what you could have had that bothers you. If you know what I mean, in terms of, say for example, you missed a trade by 0.2 pips, for example, right? That trade goes on to hit 60R, okay? But because you're so invested in trying to work out why you missed that trade, you're so upset that you missed that trade, you just missed the 2 entries, right? That you could have had 2 valid entries, most likely, especially if you're using the OB strategy. If you missed the entry after the LG, okay, remember we've also got that second entry, right? But if you're wasting your time and getting upset about missing the first entry, you're gonna miss the second one, and then you'll be more annoyed that you missed the second one, and you just missed a great opportunity. But even if that happens, don't let it get to you. Just move on because these opportunities are everywhere. And as you can see, just go through the student group and you see the amount of opportunities you guys are finding are things that I'm not even seeing because I'm probably not looking. Well, I'm not looking at certain markets at those times, right? But it just shows you there's opportunities everywhere to be found. So why should one missing trade? Why should that affect your whole day? Affect your whole week? Why should that bother you? Okay. Don't think about what you could have had. Just focus on what you have at the moment, and focus on what you can do next. And one thing to take away from it is, say for example, you missed a trade, right? And you missed it by, say, like for example, I missed one today by 0.1 pips, 0.1, right? And I'll be lying if I said that didn't annoy me, because it did. But you know what? I didn't even think about that trade until I've just said it in this video. But you have to remember that the positive to take is that you've got the trade right, you've got the direction right, you've got the area of interest right. The only thing that was wrong was the entry, but that's not really an issue because you could probably work out what it reacted off, or what you could have worked out what you've done wrong. But you've got the main things correct. It was just the entry, and that's not a huge issue. And to be honest, a missed trade is better than a losing trade, right? So see it that way. But you've done everything right. So, don't worry too much. And you need to bear in mind, the Forex market is open 24 hours, 5 days a week. One missed trade, you've got the rest of the week to make up for it. Not even make up for what? Because you haven't even lost anything. You haven't gained anything. You've got nothing to make up for. So, don't focus on what you missed and what you could have had too much, right? Focus on the now. Focus on yourself, and, think about what to do next. Don't ponder too much and don't waste your time, because it's that time that you waste thinking about it that affects everything else that comes with it. It's like a domino effect, right? So that's one thing I want you guys to take away. And the main thing that I want to say in this video is that, all the emotions that you guys feel, I feel the exact same thing. James feels the exact same thing. Ben feels the exact same thing. Ben's more like a robot, to be fair. He doesn't really give away too much. Whereas James, he'll send me videos of him crying at times. Okay, he sent me once, which I may expose him if he gets too much. But you have to remember that, everyone faces these issues. It's not just you, and I don't want you guys to feel alone. It's regardless of how long I'll be doing this, I still place a trade on, say if it goes in a little bit of drawdown, I'm like, oh shit, what's going to happen. But you have to remember that everyone faces this, because especially if you're watching it. And what James did was a really good idea, and he posted it in this channel actually. If you scroll up, once he enters a trade, he doesn't look at MT4 because of the monetary gain, right? Because sometimes he would close too early, so he would just focus and trail it. Well, not trail, but he'll monitor the trade on TradingView, just so he can't see what the trade is running at that point. So if that helps you, give it a go. I know for me, I monitor everywhere, so it doesn't really concern me in that sense. But yeah, just another tip to add. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, apologies if you can hear the noise in the background. But yeah, there isn't anything further for me to say. As I said, for this channel, there's loads of topics to talk about. However, if there's anything that you want me to discuss, just drop me a message, and it's something that I'm more than happy to. And this was actually a topic suggested by someone, which is really good. And I want to cover what you guys want to hear. So feel free to drop me a message in what you would like me to record. But for now, trade safe.